Here, we're going to replace part of the flange so it will seal up. Down here, I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do there. Probably a piece of metal. Through here where it's good and where it's nice and thin, we'll probably just do some fiberglass repair after the metal work's done. Welcome back everybody to Just Weld and Fab. We are working on a small project, short video today. Currently working on the red GMC. You can kind of see it out there. I'm supposed to be working on my daughter's truck, but I'm still waiting on pieces and parts to move that a little further forward. Anyway, trying to get this red truck or red GMC ready to go, and I wanted to get the heater working in it, and I noticed that the blower box, this thing right here, pretty bad shape. Had a pretty ugly mouse nest down inside, which kind of rotted that out, but the rest of the area where this bolt was in pretty good shape. So we're going to do a combination of metal repair and some fiberglass repair, providing I have the space for it. As I always say, making it better than what it is and almost as good as it was. Kind of how it goes, right? Anyway, let's get at it. Alright, we've got this piece cut out. I've got this piece, just some drop left over from the previous project. All we're going to do is figure out which way is going to work best. I think that's it. I guess I cut it a little wide. Anyway, we're going to line it up, spot weld it in, finish forming the rest. Let me get the welder. Good enough for government work. Let's see if we can get some tacks on. Something going here. Now I know this thing's super thin. The original material and now. Doesn't make it impossible. All right, heat control and control. It's good and tied in. Alright, I guess we're not going to shape that yet, but we do need something across here. So now we've got this locked in. Alright, now that we've got this locked in, we need to go back, cut out this section, add in a new piece of metal here. That one's going to be a challenge because it's very, very thin over here. I may just cut a piece and shape it, tack weld it to the outside. It's going to be underneath. Nobody's going to see it. It's going to perform it's going to do what it needs to do, and put some strength and integrity back into that part to last for a number of years more. Anyway, I got a small fire I need to put out, and we'll get to making that next piece. Alright, we've got us a piece cut, we got a piece notched out. We still have to do some final trimming, but we're good enough to start tacking. Alright, just got to trim this edge a little bit so it matches. Sand the rest down. And fiberglass. I believe that's the best way. I mean, I could sit here and weld and grind and weld and grind and weld and grind, but it's really not worth all that. I price used ones. They're kind of silly out there for pricing. A little bit I did come across. I didn't dig hard, but you learn a lot from little projects like this, so that's what we're doing. Not because we absolutely had to, but we have some of the equipment, we have some of the tools. We don't need a whole lot. That's why we're doing what we're doing and how we're doing it. Alright, let me get things set up so I can grind. Alright, there we have it. Good enough. I'll straighten that flange out with a hammer. You can see all the little dings and the pinholes and thin areas and things like that. The rest is fiberglass work. I think I put enough structural integrity back in it. Fiberglass is going to do just fine. Put a little bit of paint first, that way it has a protective coating underneath. I'll let that set up, cure, and then we will fiberglass from there. I'm going to do the outside. I'll let that tack up just a little bit. I'm going to flip it over and do the inside. Probably way too much. Probably way too much hardener. cheated it. I think we may have done it. Look at there. Yeah, that's a one-time use brush. Let's see if I got any more. Anyway, that's just part of it. This takes, I think, like 2 hours to fully cure, which is fine. As you can see, probably should have been using gloves. Put this junk all over me. That's got to dry, and then I'll go to the inside. I'll do the same thing. Next step, a whole lot of sanding. Then we'll decide if we're going to apply any other coats. We'll have to do some feathering when we do some sanding. But this way, I did all the necessary integrity. Any holes that I may have covered up, I'll just clean those back out. There is one drain hole I'll have to drill. Other than that, oh, maybe a mounting hole for the blower. No big deal. But we will get it there. That's all part of it. I'll show you guys when this thing's set up. All right, there it is the next day. Yeah, here in the sunlight. It's not perfect. Normally I'd spend a little more time sanding. I don't think I had enough hardener in it. Didn't set up very good. Normally if this would have been on the body, I'd go ahead and sand it some more, put some filler in it, icing, whatever, fill in the holes and stuff. I'm not going to worry about that here. Not for what it is, where it goes, and what it does. It's sound, it's stout. It's better than it was. Like $150 for a used one. I'm like, I'll try to do this first. So anyway, it's better. I'm going to tape off the sensor prongs, hit it with some rust converter, let that dry. Then I'm going to put some actual semi-gloss or some sort of paint on it. We'll make it look almost brand new. Got to clean up the firewall on the red GMC to get it ready, and I got to find something to seal this with in that groove. I don't remember. It's some sort of specialty stuff. I don't want to spend a lot of money on it. I'll look around, see what I can find. I'll come up with something, and hopefully get this thing reinstalled today. All right, welcome back, everybody. We are still working on the red GMC. Let me show you what we do have repaired like I think I can. I'll revert back to this, and I may install this. I'd kind of like to save this for another build, but anyway, I will get back with you guys when this stuff sets up, and I'll try to show you some of the stuff I've been telling you about. Know what I mean? I went up to one of my parts trucks, one that I intend to build later. I'll show you guys when I get to it. And I just assumed it had an old busted dash in it, the same as what I was dealing with, but I wanted to see if it was better. And somebody actually had made a new cover for the old dash. They put some padding underneath there. They did a pretty decent job. Somebody did. Stitched everything up, wrapped it around. Unfortunately, it has taken on some damage. This was like this before I got it. I'm not too concerned with it. I'm not building a show truck, but if I can't get the other dash taken care of the way I think it should, this dash, I think, until I get this one done, I'm going to use that other pad that I showed you yesterday, the one that's already been recovered. It's painting up very nice. I think it's not as classy as the original, but it's decent, so I think it will probably go in there until I get this one completely ready. But anyway, the foam is pretty well set up, and as you can see here, get you adjusted. Looks like it's got growth all over the place. Went inside, snagged my wife's bread cutting knife, and the reason for that is because it's serrated through here and it's not really been used that much. And to be honest with you, this knife is probably older than my kids. Anyway, so I started cutting on it to see what it would do. Let me get you guys in here and I'll show you. This is the dash out of that truck. I'm trying some stuff. So I've already carved out so this thing had cracks in it, typical GM dash. Been weathered, had cracks, it was peeling up. So I cut all the peeled stuff off. The speaker holes, those are not really salvageable unless you're going to put a ton of time into it. I'm not doing it. So I currently have some metal that I'm adhesing down here. An old license plate. Actually, it's the license plate that came off the truck. I trimmed it so it fit over that center speaker hole. And then just some more sheet metal for this one here. Basically, I'm just going to get in here and work on shaving this stuff off here, all the excess. You'll have to come back and sand it later. But it's working out really well. Try not to damage anything. Voila. Care for a bite. Looks like it's going to have some holes in it. I may have to do something about that. I wasn't expecting it to be as porous as it is. But I was kind of hoping it'd be a little more dense. It is what it is. It'll do what it needs to do. I haven't decided if I'm going to use just straight up decided if I'm just going to do straight up fiberglass mat on this, or if I'm going to use short strand. I may try, it may be a combination of both. But try to keep these in as large chunks as possible for now, just because it's going to make life easier on the cleanup, and I won't have it blowing all over my yard. Me to chop it up with a mower. Yep. I think it's going to do the things. Anyway, I'm going to get back at it. Get this all shaved down. Figure out what the next step's going to be. So the next step that I remember seeing, we're gonna have to do something probably about that structural right there. I'm not sure what yet. Anyway, we'll deal with that later. Right now, just trying to get the foam sanded down, and it seems to be working out pretty well. So we're gonna continue that process, get the majority of it knocked off, and I'll have to go back and fine tune the tougher spots I can't get in this case, an orbital grinder into. So. So alright, so now I got to go back at some point. So I still have to get all these finer areas I couldn't get the sander into, and then I got to sand the whole thing anyway, one for paint, but primarily to get the, or not Bondo, but fiberglass to work. Very tempted to just use short strand. Just go buy a fresh gallon of it, use short strand, fill in those spots. And then the other part of me is like, use regular fiberglass. But if I use the fiberglass mat, then I certainly have to do more feathering to get it to go. So I don't know yet. I don't know what I'm going to do on that just yet. I may try the short strand in some smaller areas and see how it does, and then decide from there. But I will let you guys know. Anyway, I'm going to get back at this. I'll bring you guys back at the next step. The expanded, the foam, it's all sanded down and it looks pretty good. There's some bigger holes in it and some of the larger gaps, but I'm not overly concerned with that. The fiberglass should lay right in there. Hopefully it doesn't have like a chemical reaction to it. I don't think it will, but if it does, then we'll be starting all over and figuring something out. Anyway, I decided I'm going to go ahead and use the fiberglass mat because I have it primarily, and because I don't really want to go back to the store again today. So I got to get some cups gathered up. I'll get all the products gathered up, and I will get everything gathered up. Alright, we are happening. Let's get going because we have a very short window to get this done. And I got the sun on my back, stuff like that. I'm running out. Yep. Go make some. Anyway, that's how it works. I'm going to continue putting all this stuff on, and I'll bring you back after it's all on. is looking somewhat better. I'm going to have to go back over it. We'll see how many times I got to do this to make sure it looks decent. I still haven't decided if I'm going to do a vinyl wrap or if I'm just going to try to go with it. I don't think I'm going to have the patience to get it exactly where it needs to be just to repaint it. Maybe, maybe not. We shall see. But I'm going to do another coat of the fiberglass. Try to build up some areas, fix some areas, fill in some areas, things of that nature. And all right, I kind of botched that up a little bit in here. I'll have to go back and fix it again. Anyway, the working time ran out. I didn't have enough to do the whole thing, but that's okay because it was starting to set up on me. I did reduce the amount of hardener, which gave me some more working time, which was a lot better. I got to let this harden up on the spreading tool or spatula, and then my working board, or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, I got to let it set up. I'll clean it all off with a straight razor, mix up some more, and I'll try to finish some more of it. Anyway, I'll bring you back after I get that done. I'll show it to you, and then we'll see where we end up. All right, there you have it. First layer of Bondo on. Looks absolutely terrible, but it'll be just fine because I'm going to do a whole lot of sanding. Sanding is fun. That's why we do it, right? Hopefully that'll be the last and final layer of some Bondo in there. We're going to sand down. I was filling in some holes, some low areas, some stuff that just needed addressed. Had to do a little build up here and a little bit of build up here, and I'll sand all that off and reshape it. Hopefully that will be it. Its final form. The most I'm going to do to it. I say that, then I'll find something that I don't like. But as of right now, I'm not doing any more to it other than some paint. So let's get set up for that. We're going to wipe it down. Everything else has been rough sanded. We should be good on that. As far as the adhesion, we're going for it. There you have it. The dash is done enough. Final coats on it. Going to dry. In the coming weeks or months, I may go ahead and swap out the dash, put the original back in, take the one out that I currently got in there. I'm fine with the one that's in there currently. Even if I wrap this one up and put it on the shelf someplace for a later date, different vehicle, I don't know. I'd really like to have it in the original truck. But until I get to that point, I think it's just going to wait. I really appreciate all of you guys. I appreciate the new subscribers and those that are, here for the 72 GMC pickup. Just know that I will be getting back to it just as soon as I can. This is the next project, and this part of the project is done. As far as the dash is complete, it's good enough for me, and it's going to look better than what it was. That is going to be it for this video. I really appreciate all you guys. Appreciate all you watching. Appreciate all the new subscribers. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button down at the bottom for updates on the next. And, anyway, it's been a busy several weeks. Thank you guys, and hope you have a wonderful week. Thanks for watching.